Hello athletes and fans of bodybuilding, Tarek Elguindi with the Mr. Olympia. What a great Mr. Olympia. The excitement was huge, but the excitement has not ended yet. Chris Bumstead said, I'm going to Prague, I want to get a qualification, and if I do, I'm going to be at the 2025 Mr. Olympia. Well, my friends, let's take a deep look of what can transpire in Prague. First of all, Chris Bumstead turned pro as a bodybuilder, not as a classic physique. He is the NPC North American champion. He went to the overall and he was competing against Justin Rodriguez, who won the super heavy and won the overall. So Chris Bumstead started as a bodybuilder and it looks like he wants to finish his career as a bodybuilder. Who's his mentor, the person that really inspired him to pursue bodybuilding? Ian Valliere, one of the greatest Canadian bodybuilders. And yes, Ian Valliere not only has been to the Olympia, he's won plenty of shows. He is the inspiration and the mentor for Chris Bumstead. The connection with bodybuilding is very strong. When I went down to Florida, myself and Omar Vargas from Next Level Media to shoot Chris Bumstead in Florida, one of the things that I realized is he works out as a bodybuilder. He likes lifting heavy. He does basic movements and he goes heavy. This guy is truly a bodybuilder at heart. I'm not saying the classic physique guys are not bodybuilders. The bikini competitors are bodybuilders. Everybody is a bodybuilder. But Chris Bumstead has his soul in the open bodybuilding. That's how he turned pro. That's how he works out. That's where his mentor comes from. Now he's going to Prague and he could win the show. For that matter, some of the shows we had this year at the calendar year, he could have won some of those shows. The only issue we have is that there's some guys going there that are in the top 10 of the Mr. Olympia. And I'm gonna start with Martin Fitzwater. Okay, Martin Fitzwater debuted at the Olympia and he placed 4th. Let me remind you guys, a guy that had the same type of debut, Phil Heath. Yes, Phil Heath debuted at the Olympia and he placed 3rd. Martin, who likes to call himself 2.0 Phil Heath, he placed 4th. He's going to be in Prague. And he's not going to be backstage taking selfies with Cbum. He's not interested in that. He wants to put on a show, and the show includes him winning the show, okay? Now, in addition to that, we're gonna have possibly Rafael Brandão coming fresh out of Romania Muscle Fest to go to Prague. Rafael Brandão is one of the top 8 best bodybuilders in the world. And Chris Bumstead himself has said, listen, I feel like if I competed in the open, I would be similar to Rafael Brandão. Well, now they might be facing each other. In addition to that, let's talk about a guy that has won the Olympia in the 212 2 times. Sean Clarita, he's gonna be there. Chris Bumstead loves the conditioning game. Well, Sean Clarita is not one of those guys that you've seen out of conditioning. He's gonna be there. In addition to that, we have another top 10 guy. Yes, his name is Akeem Williams. And from the side chest and side triceps, nobody likes to pose next to Akeem Williams. Chris Bumstead has the potential to win this show. But I think the competition is going to be fierce. And this is not going to be a Cbum party. This is going to be a bodybuilding brawl. And some of those guys that are going there, they're going there to beat him. Actually, Horse MD from Brazil said, I was not going to do that show. But since he's going to be there, and I'm friends with Ramon, I'm going there to get a piece of him. Oh man, this is going to be interesting. Congratulations to Cbum. He's going to the open. One thing you can say about this guy, he's not scared. He's not fearful. He's going all the way and he thinks he can win. I don't believe this fun game thing here. I'm going there to have fun. Once you become a winner and you're used to winning, you're not all of a sudden pretending to like 5th, 4th, 3rd place. He's going there to win. And I think that if he doesn't win, he's gonna try again to make it to the 2025 Mr. Olympia. That's how ambitious I think Chris Bumstead is. Now, going back to Martin Fitzwater, he was one of the guys to watch for the future, because I believe that not only Martin Fitzwater is one of the guys that brought the attention to the 2024 Mr. Olympia, I think Martin eventually can win the Olympia. Yes, I said that. Based on what's happening, Hadi Choopan, Derek Lunsford, I believe Martin Fitzwater fits the profile of some of those guys that came from the 212, got a little bit bigger, great conditioning, and can potentially win the Olympia. I don't think it's coincidence that this man comes in and places fourth at the Olympia. I think he's incredible and amazing, and I think he can do it. And I'm gonna shock you again, okay? Are you ready? Omar, are you ready? Okay. Another guy that can win the Olympia Open is Keon Pearson, okay? I was looking at the 212 and I wanted to mention a guy that could shock the world in the 212, but I said, Tarek, let's not play around. The guy that can shock the world in the 212 is Keon Pearson going to the Open. And I spoke to him, and I think that's one of his goals, is to go to the Open and win the Open. And many people speculated that if he was in the Open, he would have been on the first call out. Moving on to classic physique. Now I'm gonna take a more conservative approach here. I'm gonna mention two names that impressed me. They were not in the top 5, but I want you to pay attention. The first one is 9th place, Mateusz Menegatti. Look at him. He looks like a young Cbum. All he needs to do is fill up the frame. If he does that, this guy can easily move into the top 5. Next, I'm gonna mention a guy that placed out of the top 10, Neil Darwin from the UK. Tiny waist, beautiful legs. He's gotta fill up on top, but pay attention to these two guys. They were out of the top 5, but genetically speaking, they are superb. In the men's physique, in the top 10 from China, Carlos Ocran. Again, tiny little waist, great V-taper, great conditioning. I want you to pay attention to Carlos because he can easily move in and start challenging these guys based on genetics. Now, let's move on to wheelchair. The guy who placed second was not Karol Mileski, the former champion, was not Gabriel Andriuli, the Arnold Classic champion, was Kevin Scundino from France. The guy came in and surpassed a lot of the champions to place second to Harold Kelly. And I believe, based on the amount of mass he has, if he makes some improvements, he can challenge the champion. Moving on to the ladies, women's bodybuilding. I call her the Matrix. She is the one. Her name is Ashley the Matrix Jones, okay? There's no more pretending. She can very well become Miss Olympia one day. Genetically speaking, she might be the best competitor nowadays. I know Andrea Shaw is gonna be upset with me. I love you, Andrea. But the Matrix, Ashley Jones, has low insertions on the lats, which is something that Andrea would love to have. Now, Andrea is more polished, Andrea has more muscle, comes in more condition. But the Matrix, Ashley Jones, can actually make it. And I'm telling you, start watching for her. In the women's physique category, I want you to pay attention to Sharonica Hinton. She won the New York Pro, and she kind of reminds me of Shanique Grant. She has those beautiful lines. She poses well. She might be one of the best posers in the category. The only thing she needs is a little bit more quads. If she has a little bit more quads, this girl can easily move in and start challenging Sarah Viegas and Natalia Coelho. Moving on to the figure, Rhea Gale, top 5, 5th place, one of the best V-tapers. I've always said if she starts gaining the quads, she can be the next one in line. And I think Rhea could be the next figure Olympia champion. She has the genetics. If she gets the quads, which I see they're improving, Rhea Gale can surpass a lot of the girls that are placing ahead of her. Moving on to wellness, Eduarda Bezerra. Are you kidding me? Your Olympia debut and you go top 3 in the world just behind Franciele Matos and Isa Pereira? Eduarda Bezerra is the real deal. After Chris Cormier, I put Eduarda Bezerra as the real deal. She came into the United States, won 2 shows, went back to Brazil, got ready for the Olympia, and placed 3rd. Isa Pereira and Franciele Matos, they need to pay attention because this Brazilian hurricane is coming. Moving on to the bikini, Jasmine Gonzalez turned pro at the Nationals, green bikini, former military. She is as tough as it gets. This girl can deal with any adversity. Her first pro show win was with me in San Diego, and there's one thing I know about Jasmine Gonzalez. She will not stop until she goes all the way. She's bringing the oomph to the 2025 Mr. Olympia. And I'm telling you, you can't ignore the fact that she's moving up quickly. Jennifer Dory, Loralee Chapados, Ashley Kallwasser, watch out for Jasmine Gonzalez. In the fitness, Allison Kramer, yes, Allison Kramer placed 4th. She said to me at the Rising Phoenix, Tarek, I'm winning the Legions and then I'm gonna make an impact at the Olympia. I could feel she had all the energy on her side. Her 2-piece was incredible and her presentation was amazing. Allison Kramer can shock the world and eventually win the whole thing. That's how great she is. There's so much excitement going on that I cannot even contain myself. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to head judge the Romania Muscle Fest. And then here comes Prague and Cbum. The 2025 Mr. Olympia is going to be phenomenal.